all in a missing person report because the poet has dropped the facade, the poet it is, and in reality we see Ikechi for who he is, a little person that is small on the inside that is trying to get publicity, and that's it. You are fake. It has been a journey so far. Ikechi dropping the act, Allen hungover, Juan lacking affection, David not meeting standards, and Camille having a problem with backgrounds. The interest of it all continues to roll on because it's insane. But first, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share the show. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, you can drop a super thanks. It is all appreciated. All the support, all y'all do. Thank you so much. But we are going to get started with Ikechi and Emem, who seem to be having some breaks and some cracks, if you will. The happy-go-lucky, everything's good with them, seems to be falling apart.
You know, I could have made the fish tacos.
Oh, I didn't know that you
Now, this exchange might seem innocuous, but it's not.
wanted to make tacos.
I mean, it's just fish, and then you break it up and put it in.
I didn't know that you wanted to make some. I didn't know that.
I mean, I could have cooked everything if...
I didn't know that you wanted to make it.
It takes reading the body language, because at first he comes off as being a little like, haha, a little jokester, but in reality, that's the sarcastic side coming out, the kind of smart, if you will, and, you know, smart and not so nice word, if you will, when it comes to him. Clearly, he masks it.
Did you want to? Did you say that?
It would have saved you some time.
Did you say you wanted to make this thing?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, so the issue here is that she had said, you know, they always do these parties where they come and do a housewarming, and she had said she ordered the fish tacos or whatever, and he decided to say he could have made them. And then they get into this weird back and forth of, but did you want to? Did you say it? And he then proceeds to say he never said he wanted to. So it was really almost like picking a fight, and then he does this like, well, did I? Did I have to? I mean, it's this kind of sarcastic expression, if you will, what he does, that really is starting to, at first it kind of comes off as joking, but in reality, it's really more of a, like a, you know, I'm kind of starting something with you, but I'm being passive aggressive about it. And that's what he's doing.
Wanted to make it. What happened?
I mean, you got tacos. I said I could. I didn't say that I wanted to.
So the issue here is that then he backtracks and she says, okay, you can make the tacos, but then he says, I didn't say that, I said I could. And then it's this whole weird kind of petty argument that just screams lack of communication, lack of any kind of real meaningful kind of connection. And that's the problem, because if something petty like that causes you to have an argument, you are destined for all kinds of crazy stuff in the marriage if you try to work it out.
Calm, creative, and damn, what's the opposite of aggressive?
Nonchalant.
Nonchalant.
I don't like the connotation of nonchalant.
I don't like the connotation of aggressive.
Oh, she was quick with it. The issue with this one was they asked for 5 things that they could say to that was positive about the other one, or say 5 descriptors or whatever. One of his at the end, which he had trouble thinking of it anyway, but one of his at the end was aggressive. Okay. You know, it's a little bit of a strong, I never saw her as aggressive, so it's a little bit weird. He tried to explain it by saying, well, you know, she just says things and she's asking questions. It really was a dumb explanation. So then she goes to his and she's talking about he's laid back. What's the opposite? Friend says nonchalant. For some reason, he has some kind of weird, I don't like nonchalant, which just means kind of like laid back, which is what he tries to make himself seem like he is, but maybe he feels like it's a connotation of lazy. Either way, gets in this back and forth with the friend, where the friend's like, I don't like the term aggressive. I've had my issues with her, but aggressive? Haven't seen it.
Men want women to be aggressive. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mark what he's
Don't
saying.
get me wrong. I can lead by any means.
See, did you catch what he did there? Her cousin is basically saying, you know, he's kind of a pushover, basically, even though he acknowledges that he's laid back, but now he doesn't like it because it's kind of coming off as a negative. So what he says is, well, I can lead, but, you know, I just feel like stuff that she knows, I should let her lead. Look, just be who you are, man. Are you laid back or are you not? You can't be this leader guy, but also be this laid back guy that really is free to go with the flow and all that kind of stuff. And the cousin kind of calls you out on it while saying aggressive doesn't necessarily mean bad. So you want your cake and you want to eat it too. That's it. You fake. Ikechi is fake.
Not the person that think I know everything. If that's what you know, cool. Let's go with what you know.
That's how he explains it.
I feel like being called aggressive is a great misrepresentation of who I am, especially the way that I enter into this marriage specifically.
Yeah, she's not wrong, because quite the reality of the situation is that she didn't really come off as aggressive. Not at all. I mean, the most you could say is like, yeah, she's independent. She does her own thing. She's got her businesses. But aggressive, have not seen that. So now, should you let it roll off? Yeah, just say, you a fool, man. What are you talking about aggressive? Stop being crazy. Let it roll off. You don't need to take it to heart like she is, but she's not wrong.
You gonna put me on your health insurance? Does those things still come in play now, or you feel like at the end of the day we still need to grow and figure it out? Because automatically with the word marriage, all those things I just named comes in combined.
Yes.
I don't think that everybody think like that.
Listen, he is trying to make an excuse for absolutely everything. What he's saying is you have to think through things. Everything that Ikechi says is an excuse. Everything he says is, well, we don't have to, this is a really unique experience. He's right, but what her friends are trying to say, or her cousin is trying to say, that the reality is yes, it is a crazy situation, but you accepted into it. You married. Now you have to do certain things to kind of get up to speed and figure things out and build that connection. All he wants to say is it's a unique situation. He lays out some perfectly reasonable things. Health insurance, life insurance, bank accounts. Not everyone thinks like that. You better think like that if you want to think of, are you going to combine things? Who's going to pay what? How are the bills taken care of? All of that is important, and Ikechi just wants to be confrontational and say, no, not everyone thinks like that. Well, then that's when marriages fall apart, when you can't think of some of the basic stuff. Not how it's handled. Different people handle things differently when it comes to finances, but actually discussing it and figuring it out. You fly blind, it's going to fall apart. But he doesn't care because he is not here for the right reasons.
Enjoying him in the future? Yes. Do I see...
Enjoying him in the future?
Love? Maybe.
Okay. The question was do you see yourself falling in love with her? Okay, maybe that's not a bad. You're still new, so okay, that's a fine answer. Let's see how he does.
It's not a normal situation.
He says it again.
I mean, you can't. You keep bringing up the fact it's not a normal situation,
yes,
but you can't.
Because it's not.
But you signed up for it.
Yes,
so
true. But that don't mean that. So what you're saying is anybody that came down the aisle is supposed to love him immediately.
No, what he's saying is you need to be committed when it comes to a marriage. This is why this show is ridiculous. The concept of just, getting out of the dating thing and married at first sight. Okay, it's a nice concept, but the reality of the situation is that you get people that are not ready, because when it comes to marriage, it's compromise, it's commitment. The concept of my person, that's one thing I hate to hear, because my person is a ridiculous statement. When you're with someone, when you get married, you choose that person every single day. You choose to work, you choose to love them, you choose to care for them, you choose to protect them, whatever it is, every single day. So if you're not saying, I definitely could see falling in love with her, but I'm going to work my ass off to really make sure I build that connection and make sure everything's there. He can't even say that. Instead, it's a weird situation. That's all it is. No, it is work, and you can't even give her cousin that. No wonder he doesn't like you.
This marriage, because I'm hearing, I'm here, I signed up for this, but how? I don't really know.
That's not what I said. I'm telling you it's happening. Take it the way you take it.
That face right there says, I am trying to hold back my anger right now because he's getting defensive. He says, take it how you take it. And they are being completely reasonable. Her family is actually being completely reasonable. I thought they weren't going to be. They are asking some simple, basic questions that need to be asked, that need to be talked about, and he is getting defensive. He's breaking the facade he's put up. It is not going to work. And if it's going to be this bad right now, and where he just can't even keep his composure for some minor questions, then how is it going to be as they get into this marriage and they have some real things that go wrong in life, some real problems? Because this is just getting to know each other. That's all this is. You don't have real problems yet.
Correct. You've met at the altar as strangers, but what are you doing to get to know each other?
Exactly.
I want you to understand, and I've been here. I respect her. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. Her. I'm not here to please y'all.
Call in a missing person report because the poet has dropped the facade, the poet it is, and in reality we see Ikechi for who he is, a little person that is small on the inside that is trying to get publicity, and that's it. You are fake. This guy is so ridiculous that he couldn't even stand up to some basic questions with the friends and the cousins. Nothing that he was even crazy, not even any kind of hard grilling, but he's so small, so fragile that he just falls apart and starts to get angry. This is what kind of person you're getting into a relationship with? Nah, get out now, leave. Leave him now. Let him go wax poetic somewhere else with his crappy rhymes and get out. Madison and Allen have an interesting relationship, and he's trying. I'll give him that. He seems to be trying.
See your thoughts, I guess.
No, I think that's amazing. I love that you're doing things like for yourself.
Yeah, and that's the main thing, is I don't want you to think that I'm doing it for you. In a sense, I kind of am. I want you to be, proud of your man, that kind of a thing. And, but, one of the things that is important to me is quality time.
Yes, exactly. So the thing is he says that I'm not just doing it for you. Well, I kind of am. This is the reality. She's like, I don't want you to just do it for me. Well, he wasn't working out before, and he is now because of you. There is nothing wrong with that. You can start something positive for someone else. That's genuinely how addictions end. Been there. They end that way, but you have to do it long term for yourself. Same thing with working out, dieting, all these things. You can have kind of that idea in mind when you go into it of who you want to do it for, why you want to do it. But ultimately, it has to be you that you do it for long term. Otherwise, it's never going to last. Same thing with this. If he legitimately wants to get into an exercise mode, that's great. He can start out by doing it for her, but he's going to have to eventually do it for himself because it makes him feel better, because it makes him look better, because it gives him confidence, whatever the case may be, but it's not going to last otherwise. But it's fine doing it for someone else at first. You just got to find your reason for yourself.
In a little bit, because I'm planning a little bit of a surprise party for him.
It's nice.
I'm going to have some of his friends and my friends, and it's going to be like a little pre-birthday party.
I feel like that with how much negativity we see in the show and how much bad things they do, it's good to point out when something's good. She's trying to do something nice for him for like a surprise party, so that's great. Now, the show tries to frame it like she's trying to kick him out for a spa day with her friends, when in reality, that's just a ruse to get him out to plan this thing. So great, good for them, at least now, until we find out all the crazy stuff as the episodes go forward. But I do want to point out that that is very nice, and that's the kind of stuff that's like really showing you care in a relationship.
She went out to go watch the game the other day.
Okay.
With her friend or somebody. And I'm like, well, an invite would have been nice. Maybe I wouldn't have gone, but, just the thought like, hey, I'd like to have you here with me.
Yes, yeah. And the problem with this is that I get it. It's hard coming out of a non-relationship and adjusting. I'm sure it is. But you're in a marriage now. So you can have your time with your friends, but since the beginning, she has not shown that she is really willing to even invite him into that world. Now, is that because she's doing something wrong? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But she did something very nice with his birthday, but in reality, the day-to-day stuff really is almost more meaningful. So just showing, going to hang out with the friends, you want to come? Like he said, I might not have wanted to go, but it's just nice to hear that you want me there. Same thing, vice versa. I hope he would do the same. So you really got to have that compromise and really kind of invite each other into each other's lives completely. You can have your separate time, but you want each other to be that part of your lives, to be that, because you're forming a family, you're forming a partnership in this marriage, this thing you're going through life together. It's important. You got to figure out how to do it as a team, and that is the key there. Team.
Alone this morning. So
where is Alan?
Being a hungover ass.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Good Lord. Jeez. Okay, that is not a vision that is becoming. He's hungover from going out and drinking. And like she said, I didn't make him drink all the tequila shots. I guess they hung out. Maybe her friends told her when they invited him. It sounded like they went out somewhere else and it wasn't the party they were talking about, but maybe it was the party. Either way, now he's acting like an ass, like he said, basically saying, no, go without me, go, just like, come on, man. I know you don't feel well, but damn, even when you're sick, like, which is kind of basically what a hangover is, you're dehydrated, you don't feel good, and you don't have to be an ass about it. You can just kind of be like, all right, I'm not feeling great, I really not. You don't have to go to that extreme. It's kind of ridiculous. They have some things to work out. I think that they're going to have some serious problems going forward. We have seen now that David has admitted to working out with Madison, and it seems to be something growing there. So I think that this is kind of starting to get into the realm of, why are you spending so much time with Madison? Now, David and Michelle continue to not be able to find any kind of affection or any kind of real marriage coming together. A lot of it's because of her, but we're starting to see the cracks with him a little bit too, where he's starting to make a few mistakes. And I think we're heading down to infidelity town.
Well, I tried to reach out, I left you a note on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of childish, but, okay, you're trying. You left her a note. I get it. You're trying to do something different because they said they don't communicate.
I got no response on it. I was just trying a different type of communication because I know hi, bye.
That sounds funny.
Wanted me to leave a note?
No.
Smoke signals, definitely.
Just maybe a text message or something saying, you have a great...
This is kind of childish. I left you a note. Why didn't you send me a text message? But then she kind of drops this one.
Day two, like, I just think in a relationship, in a marriage, that if I didn't leave that, you didn't know where I was.
You didn't come home last night, though, and didn't give me a heads up.
She has got a point there. I will say that. And he never really answers that other than he didn't come home, she didn't reach out, and yet he's talking about communication. You got a point there. The question is, why? Why did he not think to say something or follow that up by like, and the reason I didn't reach out last night, what are you doing? Are you already in cheating town? Is infidelity town already here?
You need someone to enhance your life.
Ah.
So I think she, from a lifestyle standpoint, like whether it be mentally, whether it be like how you enjoy, how you're supportive of her, I think the thing to focus on is like, how are you enhancing her life?
Well, see, this is the problem. How are you enhancing her life? Y'all have come together as one, as a marriage. Why is it not how can we enhance each other's life? How can we make this work? It's all about how you can be brought up to her standards. But when she explains the standards, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Humble beginnings. Like I worked my butt off to like live in the city, like live where I live, and like just like have like the lifestyle I have. Like I really save my money because like I have like a vision of like the condo I want to buy.
So she has these extremely high standards, but yet then she's going to flaunt the fact that I came from humble beginnings. I worked myself up. I built all this, I've got my apartment. I have savings. You would think she would have respect for someone else kind of trying to do that. Like I get it. The basement's a little much. He could have cleaned it up and yeah, he could have moved out a long time ago. That's a little much. I give you that. I've criticized that since the beginning. Not as hard as some others, but I criticized the fact that he was still living with his parents in the basement when he's 30 plus years old. Get the saving money though. But you are talking about someone coming from humble beginnings. You would think that someone who is also trying to save money might be on the same page with you, especially someone that's like, talking about, maybe not explicitly said, but making it seem like they're willing to move out and get their own place with you. But no, you're not willing to accept anything. You want someone to have the same dollar amount you have right now, which is a little odd.
Why settle in life, right? He's not settling because he wants to save more money and buy something that he actually wants with a girl he wants or a wife he wants.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Exactly. So his friend makes a really good point here and really kind of puts her on the ropes because what he says is basically, do you rent? She says, yes. How much do you pay for rent? She says $2,300. He said, I buy and I pay $1,200. So if someone wants to save money and everything, and they're trying to get to that point to be in a better position instead of throwing money away and basically putting yourself in the hole, then it makes sense. He explains it like a champ. Now, you can disagree with him living in his parents' basement, but his friend definitely just kind of puts her in a position where she cannot say anything back. Basically like, I bought a house, I have it together, you don't, so why are you judgy? That's basically what he's, and all she says, yeah, that's fair. No response. So good for him. Now, they still need to have these conversations and they can't get on the same page because she has no interest in him. And I'm pretty sure his eyes are kind of wandering elsewhere already.
Restaurants in those areas or like some of the workout classes maybe, or you know what I mean? Like something that maybe like more her style per se, where she can be more comfortable and maybe let down some of that guard a little bit more.
So basically you need to make sure she lives where she wants to live. She's around what she wants to be around so she can let down her guard so y'all can grow your relationship. Everything that he finds out is how he can make it appease to her to make her happy. Not make them happy, make her happy. That's not how it works. Y'all have to have compromise. He might have to budge a little, she might have to budge a little, but every time they talk to somebody or he gets any advice, it's on how to come to her level, not ever her coming to his level. That's a problem. I harp on this all the time, but if you cannot have compromise, you are not going to have a relationship and it's not going to last.
Well, I'm super sore for
Where are we going with this?
Doing legs with Madison the other day at the gym.
You see how he quickly said while doing legs with Madison at the gym?
Be a struggle. Today was a struggle.
And
when did you?
So, hold on a second. Questions?
Work out with Madison.
At 6 in the morning, I think it was like Tuesday, Wednesday.
Nice.
I haven't done legs in a hot minute.
And then just completely brushes over that fact. I haven't done legs and done this. And she's letting it go right now. But, you know, she didn't really care about that relationship. That's pretty clear. But even she's like, I don't know about this. So clearly him and Madison are starting to build a little something on the side. And, you know, workout buddies turns into what? We sure as hell know that we're heading to some sort of cheating scandal, and another couple, or another guy and another girl from other couples, are starting to spend some time together. So I think I know where this is heading. People aren't really liking Michelle right now, and quite frankly, Madison isn't really in her relationship, but Alan's just kind of there. He seems like he's trying to make it work, so he's going to be the collateral damage in this. It is not good. Now, Camille and Thomas continue to be an interesting one, but more and more I'm starting to see that Camille cannot get past the fact that they had different backgrounds growing up, namely the diversity of which they were around people, which is a little odd considering he's never really made it a thing, but she keeps making it a thing.
A little bit more for me to see that, and I still have concerns, you know.
What
I think
concerns?
that it's not her usual type,
okay.
So it's going to take work.
By the way, her usual type was not so nice person, kind of bad boy, kind of, you know, person that isn't even really in the relationship, if I remember correctly, which was most of the women in the show. And yet you're saying you have concerns because it's not your normal type? You want her to just be with bad boys who are just going to, you know, use her and abuse her and leave her. Is that what you want? Because that's kind of ridiculous.
She just said we're a little bit different culturally. So for me, it wasn't a concern, but yeah. I think she was just being open about differences.
He has not seen any concern because she keeps bringing up their differences culturally. And all she's really said is, well, the school I went to was a little more diverse. The school he went to wasn't so diverse. It was mostly white.
For me, it wasn't a concern, but I think she was just being open about differences.
I mean, she's being open about differences, sure, but she keeps harping on the fact that y'all grew up with different backgrounds. And the main thing she says is her school was more diverse. Your school was not so diverse. It was mostly white people, which is interesting considering he has never made this an issue, never made it seem like your background is an issue. So I don't see why she keeps making this some sort of issue that has not reared its ugly head yet, but she's anticipating it to. For what? He doesn't care. Why do you care?
I guess more about like the type stuff, like guys you dated previously, because obviously I don't know what the people you've dated like previously look like. Yeah. So it's good to hear some of that. Like, you know, I would assume that maybe you dated more light-skinned dudes, but that was not the case. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe because you are. I don't know.
That got it. Look at this. That really bothered her. He's just simply making a statement of like, I don't know, you're light-skinned. Maybe you would have dated light-skinned dudes. I don't know. Huh? What?
He's surprised I don't date light-skinned men, or that's not my type because I'm light-skinned. I don't know what's going through my mind. Yep. I really don't. And he means no harm.
Okay, so she says he means no harm, but then follows it up with?
So I think that I really am going to be kind of a new experience for him. It's going to be a process, but...
by the way, she thinks that she's going to be this new experience when he goes on to talk about his past dating relationships, which you're wrong about, by the way. And then you're saying that we're going to get him there. Get him where? Right now, he's just happy-go-lucky. He doesn't have any concerns with your background or anything like that. Why are you so concerned about it? Where are you going to pull him so he comes to a side where he's like, oh my gosh, the background matters so much. The culture I grew up in matters so much, when he has never had that issue? Like, why? Y'all had good chemistry, but now you're making it where you're drawing this wedge in between, or driving this wedge in between that doesn't need to be there. It's ridiculous. And she brings it up every chance she gets. Every chance she talks to a family member or something, it's like, oh, well, you know, just culturally. I'm like, lady, he has never made it a problem. Why are you making it a problem?
Dating wise, did you have any longer term relationships?
And this is where she thinks he's going to answer a certain way, but she's wrong.
Dating black women or?
Yeah, I had, yeah, that was one of my first girlfriends when I was in college. So yeah, we dated for a substantial amount of time. I was really close with her family.
And coming kind of out of that.
And see, she's like, okay, so now I find out he has dated black women before. But let's see where we can. But she must have the same background as you, right?
The area where you grew up, where it wasn't as
Yeah, it wasn't as my neighborhood wasn't, but like the neighborhood that she grew up would have been like similar to yours.
Exactly. She has really nothing to say because he's dated someone with the same kind of background she has. When he expected her to say, yeah, I pretty much only dated white girls because that's what I grew up in. So it's kind of ridiculous that she's putting so much emphasis on this when he's never had an issue with it. They have got to get past this, and she's got to let this go, or at least kind of stop harping on it so much, because it's going to become this massive problem if she can't get past the fact that they just grew up differently. I mean, that's everyone. Whether you're the same race, different race, same religion, different religion, there are all kinds of differences you have to overcome. And most everyone you're not going to come across or date is going to be exactly like you, and I don't think you'd really want it that way. So overcoming these differences or compromising on them is huge, and that's what you have to do. I don't know if she's capable of that.
Because of all the other great qualities he has.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where, I don't want to get hung up on this as like an ongoing issue.
Right. But you are.
We do come from different spaces, have different experiences.
Yes.
And that, we just have some.
You know what that makes you, though? That makes you a strong couple if you embrace it. Instead, she keeps saying she doesn't want to harp on it. She doesn't want to, really get hung up on it. But that's what you're doing. That's all you're doing is getting hung up on it instead of, embracing y'all's differences and making you come together as a solid couple because of the different backgrounds you come from. The diversity he has faced has been, I was adopted. My biological mother and father pretty much abandoned me until I was in my 20s, and now I had to grow up with this family that adopted me, that showed me love and affection. That's a lot of adversity that he dealt with too, in a different way. So why are we not accepting that and being like, hey, everyone goes through things. Everyone goes through adversity. Everyone goes through different problems. If we learn to embrace our things we've been through and bring kind of these well-rounded kind of experiences to the relationship, you're going to be strong and you're going to be untouchable. But if you keep getting held up on how you're different as it's a problem, then you're never going to last, and it's just never going to work. So I hope for the best for them, because they were one of my couples I liked in the beginning, but now she's kind of held up here, so this is going to be interesting going forward. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share the show, and if you want to support the channel, drop a super thanks. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all next time.